One more small one before I tackle the big one. This is going to go... This is another small mesquite bowl, but with a slightly different outcome. This can go on a between centers. Giving up banging on those with my hand. It bruises. Working the spur drive farther into the blank. This is the other half of the blank the previous bowl was turned from. It also has bug damage. A slow finishing cut with the flute almost closed almost eliminates the need for sanding. using a 1-inch scraper to even the surface. The finishing cut with a bowl gouge left a smoother surface, but it wasn't quite even. It's coming along nicely, but the sapwood at the top is full of bug holes. Shear scraping to minimize sanding. I'll use a detailed spindle gouge to cut the shallow tenon. I take off the shield so I can see better. I was trying for a perfect circle tenon size of 55 millimeters. .56.5 will probably work just fine. I began sanding with 240 grit in reverse. I used light pressure, keep the paper moving, and keep my fingers moving to different areas of the paper to prevent heat buildup. I'm going to have to hollow that out a little bit. I sand a little more with the 240 with the lathe spinning forward to knock down any grain that might have been raised. All the dust goes straight to the exhaust fan. After a few seconds of 320 grit, sanding is complete. I'll use a small spindle gouge to hollow out the bottom. I forgot to turn the speed up after sanding. Trying to project how deep that cone hole is. Hollowing the bottom deep enough to remove all traces of the live center will have consequences later. I sand it smooth with 240. If the jaws are almost completely closed, the corners will leave no marks on the foot. Now to top of tape. This bit is still pretty dull. I sharpened it before I used it again. I said I was going to drill to the top of the tape, but with the rim uneven and a blur, it's hard to tell exactly where I was measuring to. I should have stopped right there. Uh-oh. That's what you get for trying to drill a depth hole sighting on such an uneven top. But I'm not going to throw that away. I'll plug that, which is what some of you have advised me to do. The first time I funneled with a depth drill. In spite of the bug and worm damage, I still hope to get a natural edge bowl out of this. As I work farther over the tool rest, I have to raise it from time to time. The bark was loose and the sapwood was wormy, so this would not be a live edge or a natural edge bowl. It's time for a depth check. No deep. I'll use the 1-inch scraper to even out the grooves in the bottom. I know you can't see what I'm doing down there, but I can't see either. The inside's ready for sanding, and I finally admit to myself there's no way I can salvage this as a natural edge. Now I can see the bottom of the bowl, and I can clean up that bad corner with a box scraper. I always feel like an idiot when I'm standing there with a vacuum cleaner, reach up here to shut it off. Make a plug out of this for that hole in the bottom. Cracks all over it, and it's stronger than heck. See if I can do this next magic trick without losing fingers. The tool rest is less than 2 millimeters from the sanding disc. Need to get this flat and thin. I need to trim the corners, make it a little bit more circular. Dropped. Found. right there. This is Starbond medium thick CA. I'm glad it didn't seep through to stain the interior. Not too shabby. I give the thick blob of glue an extra shot of accelerator. And to keep this tip from clogging, bang all the fluid out of there, put the cap back on like that, and it's good. Completely forgot about this little thing from yesterday, the one I plugged the hole in. I should have used some of this. The next day I turned another Mesquite bowl and had to patch a void with 5-minute epoxy and coffee grounds. Maybe I still can. Pretty tacky. Yeah. I used acetone to wipe off the stain around the plug. Well, nice save, I think. Now I notice I also have the black marks from the chuck on the wet wood. I should put plastic over these when I turn them around. Plastic bag, saran wrap, something, so they're not touching the chuck. Do that in the future. I think this is Danish oil. Yeah, it is. I did a bunch of toothpick holders the other day. I think that's what this is, but whatever it is, it's the finish on this bowl. After an hour, I wiped off the excess Danish oil or whatever it was and let it sit for 24 hours and then buffed it some, and it's finished. As always, thanks for watching.